Over here and show y'all. At some point, somebody has, like I said earlier, had already bored these for guides, and we have a loose guide. Set of small block Chrysler heads here for a vintage road race motor. Somebody had already bored the guides out, so I'm not going to be able to show you, me doing that, but I'm going to trim all this excess off the top. I don't like to leave it because it cracks out like that one right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. We're going to trim all this down and kind of go through doing a set of heads. Get it all machined off, so when we go to a double spring, I can use a locator or a cup on the head to the center on the OD of the guide. And look who shows up here. Must be out of food or water. And we got them all cut down. Get the vacuum cleaner and clean it up. And we got them all cut down. I'll get the other head done and we'll go back and put some guides in them, and I'll hone the guides and show you how to do that, and then we'll do a valve job on them. I'm going to put some exhaust seats in these, some beryllium exhaust seats to keep them from beating the exhaust seats out on these early cast iron heads. I'll show you doing that, and we'll be back in a little bit. Alright, we've got them both cut for I drive the guides in, but one thing I do, it leaves a sharp edge up here, so I just have a little deburring tool. A little chamfer at the top so it doesn't shave off material and the guide doesn't fit tight. Doesn't take a lot, just knock that square edge off of it. Use an air hammer to install them. We have an issue. Let me grab the camera here and show y'all. At some point, somebody has, like I said earlier, had already bored these for guides, and we have a loose guide. So I'm going to have to get an oversized OD guide for this hole. But we can go ahead and I'll show y'all honing what guides I've got put in. Let me get things kind of set up, and also have a little tool to put a chamfer on the top of the guide. Make sure there's no burrs on it. Alright. Now that we've got them knocked in, we'll set it up over in the tank to hone the guides. Okay, this is the tool you use to measure the guides when you're honing them. It's a Sun product. Works pretty well. Grab a couple of valves here. You run down the little clamp, snug it down, and just take a slight amount of pressure off of it. And need to change out my little probe here. Normally slides right, there we go. And there's a flat on it for the set screw to go against. It needs to slide that in, tighten up our little set screw in the bottom. Doesn't have to be real tight. And then this tool slides right up in there, like so. Got another little adjustment tool here that you can back off where your setting is. You'll rock it back and forth, up and down until you get no movement. Well, I wouldn't say no movement, but get it where it's a low number on the indicator and zero your dial out. And that's just this tool to measure the valve guides with. It slides down in the guide like so, and you can see where you're at on guide size. Hang back up there. I'll get the camera set up here so y'all can see when I'm honing them. Okay, got everything kind of set up here. Get some oil going, and I'll show you how to hone a guide. Tool, got a lever to release it. Check to see if you're getting taper in it. Doesn't really take too long to go through and do a set. Once you figure out how much you need to take out of the kind of the first guide, then you know about how long to hone on them. I don't run the hone real fast RPM wise. Seems to do a lot better with a slower speed. After I get it to size, I like to take the valve, kind of see where I'm at. One thing I kind of noticed over the years is you always got to hone a little more on the valve side of the guide just because of the press when you drive it in. So an even stroke really doesn't work out when you're trying to hone a guide. You have to hone a little more down towards the valve side. There's a lot of different materials for guides. Just because it's a bronze guide, there's different alloys that different companies use. And some of them, that's why people have, valve guide problems, galling up or sticking a valve or wearing them out extra fast is the material in the guide. So you want to be sure and get a quality guide from a good company, or you got the right material. You got it set back up here. Gonna do some beryllium valve seat. Try to use a fixed cutter. Got it cut for valve seats now. Going to put a beryllium seat in it to keep it from beating the exhaust seats out of it. I'll get the other head set up and cut and drive some seats in. Okay, we've got our cut for our seats, got our beryllium seats out, little homemade driver. Set them down in there, and lined up, and drive them in. Not a hard process. tell when they bottom out by the way it sounds and the head jumps around. A couple of people ask about setting the cutter up. If you look at a drawing of a cutter, it gives you a number here from the outside edge to the top of your 45. Then 30 has a mic for setting cutters. You can slide it down on there and adjust your cutter diameter. You add your valve to this number here, and that gives you a cutter setting to put your 45 at the top of the valve. Hope that kind of explains that, and I'll cut some seats on these heads and get some video of that. All right, got some seats here. Bit more on this one. There we go. Nice full angles on it. Alright, we got the intake seats cut on one head. Go to the exhaust, get those cut. Alright, I'll show y'all setting this head up here. Pretty simple rollover fixture from 30. Slide a pilot, guide. Got a little bubble level that slides over the pilot. Doesn't have to be exactly perfect. The 30 has a spherical floating head. As long as the pilot fits the guide properly, it will do a good job of centering up. It's got nice speed. See, it must be time for food or something. She's standing there staring at me, but I know she's got food and water, and I don't have any plastic bottles yet, so she's just gonna have to wait today till I drink a bottle of water. And got all the intake seats cut on it. I showed y'all earlier, setting the cutters up, and I believe I mentioned I put beryllium seats in these heads, just for the simple fact these old heads, they don't tend to do very well with the fuels these days. It beats the exhaust seats up pretty bad in them, and you end up running a set of heads because you keep sinking the seats every time you do a valve job so bad on them. Not too many people left that actually do hand porting anymore. Everybody goes to a CNC deal, but on these older heads like this, nobody has a program, and it's not worth their time to build a program. And that's an exhaust seat cut. You can see these are left up a little tall. When I order these beryllium seats, I get extra thick ones. And the reason I don't cut them all the way down to the depth of the seat is some of these heads you can go to water pretty easy on. So let's cut a bunch of heads up and see how deep I can actually go. And that's kind of how I determine, and I put them in as deep as I can get away with, so there's no chance of them falling out. And we got the valve job all done up on these. I'm going to send them, like I said, to the head porter. I'll do a video when I get them back, show you what they look like when they get back, and show you setting up the springs and, you know, assembling them, what goes into that. And I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll get that one that's on the dyno done and get some video of it. And thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Y'all have a good day.